Coach's Corner, everyone. My name is Jordan Tate, and today I'm joined by none other than Westminster football head coach, Coach Scott Benzel. How you doing, Coach?
Jordan, thanks for having me, buddy.
Absolutely. Before we get started, we're going to take a quick look back at the Titans' 42-7 win over Allegheny with some highlights.
Freshman quarterback Sean O'Shea takes the quarterback keeper and finds a crease as he gets through for the big gainer for the Titans. Ty McGowan receives a shotgun snap and drops back as he surveys, only to find Jalen Washington deep for the diving catch, setting up the Titans for great field position. Goal line look for the Titans as Clayton Cannon punches it in for a touchdown for the Titans, making it 6-0 early. McGowan would find Ethan Buford across the middle for the catch and run as he picks up another first down for the Titans. Shooter McGowan catches his groove as he finds Buford across the middle again for another huge gain. McGowan fakes the play action as he decides to take it for himself as he uses those quick legs for 6. Defense staying stout as Keenan Heater sets through the line for the big tackle for loss. Bright Cannon gets loose as he takes a pop pass off the edge for a 52-yard gain, moving them chains as the freshman keeps making waves. Another goal line package leads to another goal line tutty as Gavin Greaves walks through untouched for the touchdown. A little bit of moon connection here as McGowan finds his guy Tate Beachy across the middle for a Titan first down. 4th and 7. McGowan puts all of his chips in as he has Jalen Washington calling for ball as he gets a huge first down gain right there with that jump ball. Line look for the Titans as Clayton Cannon rams it in for another touchdown, making it a 28-0 ball game. Sean O'Shea takes another QB keeper as he turns the burners on, picking up another first down as he keeps balling in this freshman campaign. Call NASA because the moon connection is back again as McGowan finds Beachy for a snag and grab first down as those two cannot be stopped. Titans give up a touchdown, but they make up for it as Bryce Butler gets his 13th career interception, but does it in fashion as he takes it in for 6. Shotgun look for the Titans as McGowan surveys. He finds Eilam, who is now with that catch, 10th all-time in receptions for the Titans. The Sharon native celebrates the feat with his teammates after. And to finish it off, Dallas Myers, the sophomore, gets a big sack to seal the deal for the Titans as they win big at Allegheny, 42-7.
Everyone, once again, my name is Jordan Tate, and again with Westminster football head coach Scott Benzel. Coach, we just saw in the highlights, 42-7 was a big victory against Allegheny. What were your key takeaways from that game?
We played a more complete game on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Obviously, we've gotten off to some really good starts the last 2 weeks. Our offense took the opening drive and went down 70 and put it in. And then defensively, we had some little bit of issues with our third down defense, something we got to get better at and address it. But overall, the effort, attitude, and the way we're flying around was fun to see. So great team win on the road.
Absolutely. You guys have Teal coming up this Saturday, and lately you guys have been dominating the series. You're looking for your 8th straight win against Teal. How do you kind of bring your team back to earth? I know whenever you see these matchups with teams you beat a lot recently, it's kind of easy to overlook them. How do you keep the mindset like it's a Grove City or CMU kind of game?
That's a really good point on your end, Jordan. You have to try to manage expectations. We're a middle-of-the-tier team at this point. We haven't done anything to create this environment where we're overlooking anybody. It was a good football team. They've got some really good playmakers on their offensive side of the ball. Defensively, they've been solid since their head coach has been involved in that rebuild. So, our players are a little more mature in a lot of ways from a preparation standpoint. We had a really good, solid week of practice, so that's preparing us to play our best football. And, what you don't want to do is play down, quote-unquote, to your level. You want to play up to your standard, and our standard is we want to be a championship team, and championship teams play same way, regardless of opponent.
Absolutely. And following Teal, you guys have a big matchup with W&J right after. Have you started to kind of look towards that and kind of prepare already for that game?
Was that a trap question? Because the answer is no. We've got to play who's on our schedule. In a unique schedule environment where every game is a conference game, they all count. So to drop a game against Teal would be the same as dropping one against W&J. So the short answer is no. We focus on what we've got this week. We know what W&J has to offer. Our kids will not have to be motivated to play against them, especially from the loss that we took last year down there. It was pretty embarrassing. So our focus is this week, and our focus is in Greenville.
Absolutely. So, Coach, we saw again Allegheny. You guys were rolling on offense. What were the main things that you like to see and like to see improve throughout the offense?
Yeah, offensively, we've distributed the football really well. I think we've had 15 different ball touchers that game, and that just speaks to the depth and the talent that we have on that side of the ball. We're not an overly big offensive team, but we are very quick. We're very fast. So what I'd like to see us do moving forward is continue to play to our competitive advantage. You know, get our guys ball in space. Our running backs, our wide receivers are guys that they can make people miss, and they're very, very dangerous. So, we want to continue to try to be consistent there. What we probably need to improve on is we have some lapses, particularly when we get inside the 40. I think we try to get a little too cute sometimes. Stay to the basics, the fundamentals. I mean, we have to have trust in our players that we can line up. We don't have to call a perfect play. We can just line up and execute, and I think that's the biggest point I took from Saturday.
Absolutely. And your defense has been outstanding. We even saw in the Waynesburg game week 1, they were making incredible stops, and only allowing 7 points to Allegheny is also amazing. What's the big thing that you see within your defense that's playing so amazing?
Yeah, that would be your definition. I don't necessarily. I'm pretty tough and critical on our defense. I don't think we're playing amazing. I think we're playing hard. We're definitely flying around, but there's a lot that we need to be doing to continue to get better. It's not a lack of talent. It's certainly not a lack of ability. It's just a lack of experience. We're really young on that side of the ball. We were blessed here for a long time to have some guys that have been around and can kind of, go through this playbook in their sleep. That's not the case. So defensively, we just have to continue to trust each other and do our jobs. And that's been the biggest challenge. I think sometimes we try to do too much, but I'm very, very proud of their effort.
Absolutely. And a familiar name, a lot of people know, Chevy Dawson's been one of the star players these last couple of years. He has a new role on the team, so how has his presence kind of motivated or picked people up?
Yeah, I love Chevy. Chevy's my guy. Chevy's one of the smartest players I've had a chance to coach in a long time. Not only does he understand, obviously, offense from being on that side of the ball, but that's only helping him understand defensively how to teach that to our players. So Chevy's got a great presence. He's a quiet guy by nature off the field. On the field, he's a lot to handle. He get on those guys, and it's coming from the right place, and I think they respect that. So we're really happy to have him.
Absolutely. A lot of tough love, as you were mentioning, with the defense and everything going on. What's kind of your motivation to players whenever things are kind of down, not looking too bright? What's your message to them to kind of get them back on track?
That's another good question. My motivation is maybe a little bit different. I challenge my guys quite a bit. In today's world, we tend to not want to rattle cages, or we don't want to necessarily upset people. I'm not saying I purposely do that, but I'm a little less sensitive about feelings, and I'm more about facts. I think if the players know that there is a lot of love with that, it'll be well received. And I think the older guys really get that about me. The younger guys, it's a challenge for them. So my motivation is always try to make them understand that there's more, and they can do better, and they can be great. And I want them to be great because, why wouldn't you?
Absolutely. I think we see that in a lot of athletes alone. I know from experience, too, being screamed at and everything. Mm-hmm. You can take it the hard way, or you can look at it from a different perspective and be like, okay, like my coach wants me to do great. He sees what I have, and they kind of miss that point.
Yeah, screaming to scream is very ineffective. I don't necessarily think that's you're a good motivator by yelling. I think you're a good motivator by each player's different. There are certain guys where you could chew their rear ends out and they'll shut down on you. That's not necessarily going to be effective. So we try to pick and choose our spots, and it's always about the act and not the actor. It's about what you're doing, not who you are.
100%. And Coach, before we wrap up, what are your main keys to victory this weekend?
Yeah, number one, I think, is defensively don't give up big plays. They've got some really good big play ability, quarterback, wide receiver, running backs. They're littered with talent that way. Second key is our special teams has got to make a bigger impact. That seems to be an issue right now with Teal, an area we can attack. And our third thing is, how do we kind of manage these offensive pieces and sort of continue to build on those things, because we're getting Ryan Gomes back, and he's another guy that demands opportunities. So it's a good challenge to have, but it's an important part of it.
100%. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming out, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Jordan. I appreciate it, buddy.
That's going to wrap up this session of Coach's Corner. Stay tuned as we have more interviews coming up shortly.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Reed Activewear, offering men's and women's activewear and custom embroidery. Located at 1610 West Jackson Street in Painesville, Ohio. Reed Activewear, open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, closed on weekends. Visit reedactivewear.biz or call 440-352-7433. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Riardo's Bar and Grill, offering homemade Italian dishes, game nights on Mondays, and trivia nights on Wednesdays. Located at 1223 East Washington Street in Newcastle. Riardo's Bar and Grill, opening at 4 p.m. every day and closed on Sundays. Visit riardos.com or call 724-698-7259.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Sunset Lanes, offering bowling, food, and drinks, located at 1218 Idaho Street in Farrell, Pennsylvania. Sunset Lanes open every day until midnight, closed on Sundays. Call 724-981-9363 or visit online at bowlingoftheballs.rocks.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Pizza Joe's in New Wilmington, offering pizza, stromboli and calzones, subs, wings, and salads. Pizza Joe's open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. at 209 South Market Street in New Wilmington. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Gilliland's Market, offering quality meats and groceries at 109 South Market Street in New Wilmington, Pennsylvania. Gilliland's Market, open Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5, Friday 9 to 6, and Saturday 9 to 3, closed on Sundays. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Ed & Jerry's Auto Service, 275 North Market Street in New Wilmington, offering auto repair, maintenance, and towing services since 1964. Ed & Jerry's Auto Service, open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner, everyone. I'm once again Jordan Tate, and today I'm joined by men's and women's swimming and diving head coach, Coach Todd Slobodnyak. Coach, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks, Jordan, for having me.
Absolutely good to have you. Coach, it's your first year back at Westminster. I know it's your alma mater, graduated in 2012. How's it been coming back here?
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. It feels like, the first couple weeks feel a little awkward, settling into the role of coach. Being here from 2012 was always just spend some time away, but coming back, it feels really good to be back on campus on a regular basis, and really excited for our season to start.
Absolutely. Being your first year head coach, a lot of challenges are coming. Have you faced any of those yet, or what are kind of some of the things that you're looking forward to facing as the season goes on? Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it's just trying to get down a lot of the admin side. What I need to do, what I need to set up. Hiring, we brought in a new GA, we brought in a new dive coach, volunteer dive coach. So just trying to get the staff right. Our culture starts from the top down. So trying to put our policies, procedures in place, trying to get the right coaches in place, and then really start structuring out the season. So that hasn't been much of a challenge as much as it's been something new for me to, at this level. But it's been fun to plan. It's been fun to, kind of take my experience as a swimmer and get to bring it back to the swimmers and divers that we have now. Absolutely. And from a head coach's perspective, I'd just like to know, having more coaches on your coaching staff, I know before is a little shorter. Mm-hmm. How does that help you from a head coach's perspective, having that extra help to help you with players, finding transportation, all the things? Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, for swimming I always say, is a really well-rounded sport, and same thing with diving. We need strength and conditioning, but it's also a very technical sport. So for us, having more eyes on pool deck is important, because I might see something in one athlete, and my assistant coach might see something else. We don't want to be stale in what we see and what we do and how we coach. So it's good having other people around to, draw ideas off of. What do you think about this swimmer? What do you think about this diver? Maybe we should try this. Maybe we should change a little bit of their training this way. So having more hands on staff is important. Something I want to continue to grow, just because it gives us a nice, well balance, and it just brings experiences from. We're blessed to have a GA from a Division I college, and getting some Division I experience on pool deck is important. Our dive coach comes from Gannon, which is a Division II program, so it's just nice to be able to conglomerate all the information and the years of coaching that we've had into one program. Absolutely. You talked about experience. You've had a lot of experience, especially here at Westminster. What do you kind of hope to bring to these athletes that are on the swimming and diving team from your experience? Yeah, no, I mean, I've told all the athletes probably too many times already, but Westminster was a phenomenal experience for me. Shaped who I am, shaped the man I wanted to be. And for me, I want to give that back to our athletes first and foremost. But more than anything, it's just we want to bring that passion and that hype back.
Our program is a rich program, 380 All-Americans that we've produced, national champions, NCAA appearances, PAC championships, and we want to get back to that. And I think a lot of that is just really revamping of who we are as a program and what we want to do mentally and what we want to do physically, and just shaking it up and trusting the process. So I think it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. You mentioned about all the athletes and everything, and previous to Westminster, you coached in the WPIAL and nearby Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very competitive district and everything for high school sports, and you have produced many incredible athletes across NCAA, and you also sent a lot of people to the state championship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you kind of form players to be as successful as you have?
Yeah, no, I mean, first and foremost, we have to get pretty granular on a level of communications. Understanding the athlete for who they are, what's motivating them, what their goals, and how we can challenge them and push them to get there or beyond. I think in today's world, we have a lot of athletes that are kind of content where they are. They're afraid to push outside that comfort zone. And my job is to look, assess, and work with them to push them past that. At a high school level, especially within the WPIAL, I mean, teams like North Allegheny, Seneca Valley, I mean, these programs are big, fast programs, and you're challenged every day when you go out there and race. So to me, it's bringing that intensity to practice and bringing that hype to practice, I like to say. So for me, we're trying to treat practice every day. It is race prep every day, right? It is trying to hit intense swims every day. We want to build that energy so when we go to race, we're ready. It's not one of those things where, we have long, drawn-out practices and you go to a meet on a Saturday and decide, now I'm going to go fast, right? We want to go fast all the time. So really trying to bring that aspect of, listen, the PAC with Grove City is very competitive. We've got some young upcoming coaches between Chatham and W&J and St. Vincent and Gregovich over there. So ideally, we really need to get back to basics of, listen, we want race prep every day. We want to get ready to race because the competition's at that level.
Absolutely. And Coach, before you wrap it up, I'd just like to ask you, being your first year, what are some of your goals for this season coming up?
Yeah, first and foremost, we've had some swimmers and divers that have been a little stagnant on results and places and how they performed in a season. I think trying to re-energize and revitalize them and reset them into what they want to do. Really trying to hit the recruit trail hard. We want to grow this program, want to get 40, 45 swimmers, divers on the program. So a lot of recruiting, a lot of re-energizing, and really just try to put us back on the trajectory to get back on top of the pack.
Absolutely, Coach. That's going to wrap it up. I appreciate you coming out, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate it.
Stay tuned for Coach's Corner as we have more interviews coming up shortly.
Welcome to the PAC Football Report for September 28th, 2024. I'm RJ Scott, and this week we will take a quick look back at the football action in the President's Athletic Conference last Saturday, while also previewing Week 4 contests this weekend. 5 PAC teams remain unbeaten through the 3 weeks, with the 2 3-0 programs set for a huge Week 4 class. Carnegie Mellon and W&J each improved to 3-0 with impressive wins, with CMU posting a 66-0 blanking of Bethany, while the Presidents overcame a 2.5-hour lightning delay to defeat rival Waynesburg 55-16. Defending champion Grove City and Westminster each improved to 2-0 with road victories, with the Wolverines rolling past St. Vincent 56-7 and the Titans downing Allegheny 42-7. Finally, Geneva earned its first win of 2024 with a 21-6 home decision over Teal. Case Western Reserve had the Week 3 bye. PAC Player of the Week recognition in Week 3 went to Grove City senior wideout Scott Frazier on offense with 242 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns at St. Vincent. W&J senior defensive tackle Dawson Dietz on defense with 8 tackles, including 45 for a loss and 1.5 sacks at Waynesburg. And junior kicker Justin Capitu of Carnegie Mellon on special teams going perfect for 6 for 6 on extra points with a 33 field goal to top it off. Top newcomer was Geneva freshman linebacker Wyman Shaheen with 5 tackles and a sack and a fumble recovery versus Teal. Week 4 again features 5 league contests, including multiple homecoming games. While Bethany has the bye, the matchup of PAC and national powers between 3-0 Carnegie Mellon and 3-0 Washington and Jefferson kicks off at 2 p.m. at Cameron Stadium in Washington. CMU is ranked number 15 in W&J's receiving votes in the latest D3Football.com National Top 25 poll. The teams are meeting for the 73rd time, with the Tartans holding a 36-31-5 all-time advantage, including a 35-14 final in Pittsburgh a year ago. President head coach Mike Sirianni previews the heavyweight matchup with CMU.
They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of fifth-year players back, and match their intensity, I think, is the big thing, and eliminate our turnovers. And hopefully, by that, if we can do that, they're also talented. We could be in the game in the fourth quarter.
After a Week 3 bye, Case Western Reserve is also receiving national top 25 votes as the 2-0 travel to Beaver Falls for a 3 p.m. homecoming matchup at 1-2 Geneva. The Spartans have won all 9 meetings with the GT since rejoining the PAC in 2014, including a 42-7 home win in Cleveland in 2023. Veteran Case head coach Greg Dalblick details how he and his staff will approach the Week 3 bye week.
The way we chose to go after talking with my leadership group is we just competed against each other. We were very competitive, sometimes going live, sometimes not. But, our guys like competing.
Defending PAC champion and 2-0 Grove City, coming off its highest national ranking ever at number 8 this past week, hosts 1-2 Allegheny in the Wolverines' annual night game at Thornfield at Grove City at 7 p.m. The all-time series dates back to 1899, with the Gators holding a 36-29-7 advantage. But the Wolverines have won both meetings since Allegheny rejoined the PAC in 2022, including a 31-7 final in Meadville a year ago. GCC mentor Andrew Dionato talks what makes this night game special in Grove City.
The night game is the one game where almost every other sports team is able to make it. I know it's a big deal for all the athletic department to be there, cheerleaders, fans, the band, and just really having all the student athletes there, I think really makes for a special environment at Grove City in our night game.
Another Week 4 PAC contest, 0-3 Waynesburg travels to 1-2 St. Vincent for a 1 p.m. kickoff at Chuck Knoll Field in Latrobe. It's the 43rd all-time meeting between the teams dating back to 1929, and the Jackets sent a 4-game skid to the Bearcats with a 24-0 shutout in Waynesburg last season. Finally, 0-3 Teal hosts homecoming at Alumni Stadium in Greenville with a 3 p.m. kickoff against 2-0 Westminster. The longtime foes finally face off in their 81st meeting dating back to 1894. Westminster has won the last 7 contests, with the last Tomcat win in the series being a 45-37 4-overtime thriller in 2013. That's all for this edition of the PAC Football Report. Log on to the conference website at www.pacathletics.org all season long for the latest news, scores, statistics, and other league information. You can also follow us on social media via X, Facebook, and Instagram. Links are available at the PAC website. I'm RJ Scott. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the stadium.
As fans, you always show up big.
You drive hours to away games.
Brave 0-degree weather. You go all out.
Now, it's time to show up just as big for our country.
And that starts with registering to vote.
The average time to register is literally 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
It's not just our game that needs us.
Our country and local communities do too.
Let's get it.
And welcome back to another segment of Coach's Corner. I'm RJ Scott here today with singer-receiver Ty Eilam. Ty, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me.
And Ty, coming off a big win against Allegheny, we do know, though, that you broke a record being number 10 all-time receptions now. What's the mindset on an accolade like that?
It feels good, I put in the work throughout the summer. Had my knee injury last year, so this season was really just a get-back season from what I missed last year.
Yeah, and coming off that knee injury, very major knee injury right there, took you out a whole season, took you away from your guys, What was essentially the mindset? Like, how did you get through that tough time period?
It was tough. It's been about 400 and something days since I've been able to get back to what I do. Being alone really showed me a lot, showed me a perspective on life differently. But right now, my mindset is good, and I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, I know. It's huge because last year offense struggled a little bit, as we know. That wasn't as productive as it was in years past. But this past weekend, versus the Gators, 480 yards, 240 of those passing. What changed in the offense? Was it a switch? Was it you came back? What's the mindset with the offense now?
I feel like it's really just, since we do got guys like me coming back, it's really just give the guys the ball in space, let them work, let them have fun, let them do what they do best.
Yeah, and good wide receiver room, Jalen Washington, you yourself, Tate Beachy, just to name some of those guys off. With your experience, how do you get back to those younger guys like, the freshman and sophomore that came in this year?
Basically tell them, keep them level-headed, get in the playbook every day. I was a freshman at the time, started my freshman year, so it was really important for me to get in the playbook and keep my head at a good level.
Yeah, and speaking of the playbook, new coordinator and Coach Mauro Mons, as he comes in, you're finally get to experience him this year. How would you say that dynamic's been?
I like Coach Mons. He's a good guy. He's creative with his mind, and I feel like that's something we needed for our offense.
Yeah, and very creative, has a lot of experience and creative as well for you. I see you on a lot of sweeps now, a lot of motion with you. How's that role feeling in that slot?
I like it. I like to move around. I'm a fast guy. Makes me not think about my knee, so it feels good.
Yeah, coming off that edge, you're a fast guy, crafty guy, always find a way to get around stuff and, changing that role. How does it feel to take a step back in a sense, not being that key guy, especially coming off that knee injury? They want to kind of preserve you and keep you protected. How does it feel taking a step back and watching others?
It feels all right, I just don't want it to make it seem like, his knee injury, we need to take a step back from him. Like, nah, I'm ready to go. I waited for a long time for this.
Yeah, and Teal coming up this week, won the last 7 matchups, in your entire time here, never lost to him, You play Teal this week. We all know it's Teal. You got to focus on this game, but W&J's next week, a huge game for you guys, especially after they come off a game from CMU after that matchup this week. What is the mindset going into these next 2 games?
We got to start fast, finish fast. We got to do all that to get them out of there. We got to be number 1 this season, and that's our main goal: win the championship and keep going.
Yeah, and you winning those 2 championships yourself, is there anything that you could say that you see any similarities from the teams of the past from now? Because, offense, like I said, is clicking at a different pace than ever before. I mean, it feels like they did a total switch. Is there any similarities you see from those past teams with now?
We really got basically the same guys back as our receiver room. We still got a running back, Ryan Gomes. So I feel like our offense has been there as a unit, but I feel like as the games go on this year, we're getting stronger and stronger to be the best unit in the pack.
Yeah, would you guys even say you're at full force yet? Because, first game 23-10 to Williamsburg, everyone was kind of skeptical on, what's the offense going to do this past week? 42-7, had 21 points already before half. Are you guys even at full strength yet?
No, not at all. I think we're in the middle. I'm not saying we're trying to figure it out, but we still got a lot of work to do. But I honestly feel like it's going the great direction we're looking for.
It is, and just a quick question. Speaking of adversity and stuff like that, everything's going great right now. But when adversity does strike this season, which it potentially could, especially in the back end of the season, as we know those games are stacked with the CMUs, the Grove Cities. What is your message to the young guys and to the team?
Keep your emotions. A loss, you got to lose to win. And it's hard if you take an L, but it's what you do the next week. It's how you perform throughout practice, how you perform in the classroom, in the games. Some people will probably not try to be involved as much if we take an L, but they got to understand you got to lose to win.
Lose to win, and with that being said, we've lost a lot this past season, 6-4. I think with you being back and everything, clicking as it was, I think the Titans have a great opportunity to do something great, and PAC championship definitely is in the foresight and in the forefront of anything. So, any parting thoughts?
I know we're ready to go. I'm ready to go. I know the coaches are ready to go, and we just got to go get this title.
Indeed. So, well, that's all today for the Coach's Corner. My name is RJ Scott. This is Eilam, and we'll see you guys next week.